Hello, my name is Shani Mikhail. I'm the student of the International School of Prague. This is a sequence from the TV series Boardwalk Empire created by Emmy Award winner Terence Winter. Martin Scorsese was the producer of this series, edit done by Kate Stanford and Tim Strito. First season premiered on HBO on 19th September 2010 and last, fifth season, aired on September 7th, 2014. These series were produced in the United States. Martin Scorsese's effort attracted widely appreciated actors. The lead role was taken by Steve Buscemi. The series received 40 Primetime Emmy Award nominations, including 2 for Outstanding Drama Series, winning 17. The series also won the Golden Globe Award for Best Television Series in Drama in 2011 and 2 Screen Actor Guild Awards for Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble in a Drama Series in 2011 and 2012. The analysis will cover 2 scenes from Season 4, Episode 3, Acres of Diamonds. In the first scene, main character Naki, who is played by Steve Buscemi, travels outside of Atlantic City in order to conclude the deal with his partner, considering the establishing road through the area for the caravan transportation of alcohol. In that exact scene, he finds out that the area is going to be highly developed with limited infrastructure. Therefore, the road will become unsafe for illegal operations. This is another opportunity to explore this central character and his style of business. Next scene is the parallel life events of his nephew, which develop this newly introduced character and reveal his personality of a teenager. It is essential for this analysis to cover the introduction to the character, as it is one of the many ways this series gained its appreciation.
As the saying goes, if you don't own, you can't make. This land is opportunity, and you've doubled your investment in a month, especially with the railroad expanding. Well, I've seen deeds pass 15 times in a day. Just last week, there was a shipping clerk from Syracuse, never left the train station. Sold his deed in the washroom, headed back north on the next train, 15,000 to the good. I tell you, Mr. Logan, you will not be sorry.
Thanks, buddy.
Quite a racket.
It's a bankrupt.
I was talking about the real estate game. Say, can any Joe buy in?
Well, sure, if he's got the dough. Just so happens I'm selling lots in Pineapple Grove, hottest new development in Tampa.
Is that so? Say, that shipping clerk who sold his deed in the washroom, did he wipe the shit off his hands before he signed it?
A wise guy, huh?
Call me Nucky.
Skeeter Walsh.
Skeeter?
Well, Pop said I was always buzzing around, so...
Not that you're a bloodsucker. No offense, but I've met my share of salesmen.
Well, what we've got sells itself.
Swampland at $100 an acre.
We're only giving people what they want.
I know a little about that myself. Again, and for my friend here as well. Lighter on the blood, heavier on the Mary. So, how's this all work? I'm buying the drinks here, so give it to me square.
Well, me and the other fellows, we're binder boys, see? We take the deposits, the binders. It's 10% usually.
Oh, the purchase price.
Which is enough to hold the property. It's booming down here since Temple Terrace opened. And that's just the beginning.
You don't say.
Yeah, there's 3 more developments coming. Country clubs, golf courses, 80 miles of paved streets, not to mention $250,000 Roman pools.
And the buyers are lining up.
Put it this way. Last year, there were 9 binder boys. This year, 74.
I say that you ought to get rich. It is your duty to get rich. The men who get rich may be the most honest men you find in the community. That is why they are rich. That is why they are trusted with money. That is why they carry on great enterprises and find plenty of people to work with them. A man is not really a true man until he owns his own home, and They that own their own homes are made more honorable and honest and pure. Money.
Bucket. Hey, Henry. What's this, Wolfie? A speech by old man Conwell. Sap sells his farm to go look for diamonds. When all along, his own place is lousy with them.
Well, ain't that ironical? Say who's gonna butt me.
And money pays your creatures. And you would not have many of them either if you did not
Kinda lucky.
pay them.
Sure, Bucket.
You get the largest salary,
Only my pals call me Bucket.
good with the power that is granted. There are some over-pious Christians.
Say, remember you told me Colleen Moore enrolled in school?
Brother, can you lay it on thick? You sit behind me in English lit.
So, tonight, after lights out, we got some Paul Whiteman records, and we are gonna dust off that Victrola.
Doris and I already have plans with some juniors from Penn Sigma Chi.
Those bums are all wet.
Wet is why we're going.
Well, we have plenty of giggle juice.
Actually, we don't.
Well, that settles that then, doesn't it? Maybe next time.
I can get some.
Some what?
Some booze.
Like fun you can.
No, really, I know some.
So, tonight then? The basement?
Well then, it's a date.
God, he will be great anywhere. I sympathize with the poor, but let us remember, there is not a poor person in America, the United States, who was not made poor by his own shortcomings.
As the saying goes, if you don't own that, you can't live.
The first scene is rich with the choreography of the characters and the camera, which visually sets and expands the development of the plot in this episode. Starting from right to left movement, which is forced and unusual for the human eye, audience follows Naki's glance. Camera and Naki's eyesight follow the rolling hat. Camera is stationed behind Naki, which develops into the over-the-shoulder shot due to Naki's shoulder being in the foreground. Person who was chasing the hat catches it right in front of Naki, marking the middle of the room. Later, eye contact was made between the man and Naki. Cut to a middle shot of main character being placed in the middle of the frame, which signifies his importance and status of being alone in the setting. This allows the audience to focus on his expression, which was the discontent and criticism mixed with hatred.
This land is opportunity, and you double your investment in a month.
Naki's eyesight is traveling with the camera now from left to right, focusing on the passing man. This is fixation of the movement of the surroundings, which allows audience to associate themselves with the protagonist more and to be placed on his chair to observe. All the background characters are dressed in beige costumes, which signifies them as the mechanical parts of the setting. However, those characters are representing no importance to the main action, and the light is set to accommodate the color with the high-key lighting. Actor does a great job with the development of facial expressions that reveal characters' negative reactions to the information.
Thanks, buddy.
Another highlight of the camera's choreography being synchronized with Naki's observations of the scene is the changing focus from the two people talking on the table to one. As a businessman stood up and walked away, the real estate agent remains alone in the shot, and camera placed him in the middle of the frame with Naki's shoulder in the shot. This movement marks that finally the person who he was interested in became framed and alone, and he, Naki, can approach him in order to dig up the information that becomes vital factor in his further decision considering a business offer.
Quite a racket.
It's a bankrupt.
I was talking about the real estate game. Say, can any Joe buy in?
Well, sure, if he's got the dough. Just so happens I'm selling lots in Pineapple Grove, hottest new development in Tampa.
Is that so? Say, that shipping clerk who sold his deed in the washroom.
Here, with the approach to that person, Naki selects distinctive vocabulary in order to get closer to this real estate agent and find out information that in the most concrete way possible, This is another specialty of Nucky Thompson, an ability to shape the language precisely for his audience. High key lighting remains on Nucky Thompson on the edges of his arm, shoulder, and head, suggesting the innocent character that Nucky uses for his approach.
Did he wipe the shit off his hands before he signed it?
Whereas in comparison, the real estate agent has low-key light around him, highlighting his insignificance to the main character and the main plot. Camera moves with Nucky reaching for the handshake, which is, again, the identical movement of the camera with the character, so it seems that the audience is placed to see the world from Nucky's perspective.
No offense, but I've met my share of salesmen.
Well, what we've got sells itself.
Lighting source now changes with the real estate agent sitting in front of a window. He is on the bright side of the shot, even though he's not getting any of the high key lighting on himself. Nucky remains in the high key lighting though. Further conversation will continue to be cut to cut and will never feature middle double shot, which is ultimately suggesting separation between those characters. More the real estate agent gives information about the development of the area, more Nucky gets darker and unsatisfied. Nucky Thompson and real estate agent are in the focus of the frame, whereas at the same time the background is blurred. This is the representation of the engagement of the main character in the dialogue.
This year, 74.
With the last piece of information that the real estate agent gives, Nucky reaffirms of his concerns, which is highlighted at the dolly in shot. Scene ends with the transition to the other scene. Transition used the sound of the other scene being added to the previous scene, which creates an effect of the smooth segue from one location and time to the other. This type of the transition is overdone in this series in some instances. This makes it irrelevant. However, in overwhelming majority of the cases, this transition creates bonds between the characters. It also foreshadows their actions. Here, transition explores thoughts of the character by using recorded lecture that was talking about a person getting rich, which is an ultimate goal of Nucky Thompson in his work travel that he made.
In the community. That is why they are
Next
rich.
scene is presented with the low-key lighting, highlighting the boredom of the characters being in that room. With camera's pan, main character of the scene comes to be highlighted in focus, whereas his peers are in the background. Here, cinematographer used rule of thirds, signifying this character's identity and focus on the lecture. His expression identifies complete engagement with the school's lecture. As soon as other characters enter the frame, main character switches his attention to them, with the camera slightly doling out and with the rack focus establishing deep focus, which allows to concentrate now on these new characters and main character meanwhile being blurred. Now, Nucky's nephew rests himself on the column, which makes him to be in line with the peers, which shows his attempt to hide himself from those new characters that just entered the scene. Now that Buck, he was in the lead of these characters that just entered the scene, overtakes the dominance in the frame, making Nucky's nephew to blend with the background.
Lay it on thick. You sit behind me in English lit.
So,
Now
tonight,
that the female characters entered, the attention of both protagonist and Buck switches to them. Lighting changes just for this female character, transforming to warm lighting on her face, which represents attraction of other characters towards her.
Well, that settles that then, doesn't it? Maybe next time.
I can get some. Some what? Some booze.
Like fun you can.
No, really, I know some. So, tonight then, the basement?
This sequence is an example of the attention that director and his writer put upon the development of their characters. Such development of the character was achieved not just by the dialogue but also by the expression through cinematography. This was Dissecting Scene Practice, recorded and edited by Shane and Mikhail. Thank you for their attention.